China showcased two fifth-generation stealth fighter jets this week at the 15th China International Aviation and Aerospace Exhibition. The J-20 and J-35 stealth fighter jets mark an important milestone in Beijing's development of military technology. China claims it is the first country to operate two types of stealth fighter jets after the US. The J-35A, beyond sharing a similar name with the American aircraft, also has a similar design, with twin engines instead of a single turbofan engine. The air show was the first official look at the land-based J-35A, a fighter jet that has been in the works, in one form or another, for well over a decade. The J-20 primarily focuses on air superiority, but the operational role for the J-35 are not yet defined. The specs of both jets cannot be independently verified, and therefore the jet's capabilities are also not verifiable, despite Chinese claims. China is trying to replace its aging fleet of 1950s and 1960s jets with modern platforms, and has made rapid progress through the indigenous development of its own fixed-wing aircrafts. This also includes its own jet engines. China is now in a position to mass-produce these jets and induct them into its air force. But until they are tested in a real-world environment, we will need to take China's word for what the J-20 and J-35 can do. A special UN committee has said Israel's actions in Gaza are consistent with the characteristics of genocide, while in another report, Human Rights Watch confirmed Israel was committing war crimes and ethnic cleansing in Gaza. The UN report, released by the UN Special Committee to investigate Israeli practices, said Israel has used criminal means to achieve its military goals, including the use of starvation as a weapon. This included intentionally causing death, starvation, great suffering, and serious injury. The Human Rights Watch report focused on Israel's forcible displacement of Palestinians in Gaza. It found Israeli authorities have caused massive, deliberate forced displacement of Palestinian civilians in Gaza and are responsible for war crimes and crimes against humanity. Human Rights Watch found there is no plausible imperative military reason to justify Israel's mass displacement. In response to the reports, the US denied Israel was committing genocide. Israeli troops are forcing Palestinian civilians to leave the northern cities of Gaza under the threat of death, whether by shooting or starvation. Haaretz reported that Israeli forces are destroying all the homes in the areas they are cleansing, so Palestinians have no place to return. The world's most advanced manufacturer of semiconductor chips has announced this week it will no longer take orders from China. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company will no longer fulfill orders from China for anything smaller than 7-nanometer chips, which are used in cutting-edge tech. The announcement came as TSMC found its chips in Huawei products, despite the sanctions on the use of such chips in Chinese products. It appears China has been sweeping up the supplies of other countries and using them in its products. Chips that are smaller than 7 nanometers require deep ultraviolet machines, or the more advanced extreme ultraviolet machines. These machines are only made by one company in the world, based in Holland. Unless China can build its own machines, which it hasn't currently, and is the reason why it's scooping up the global supply of advanced chips, China will have to look at alternative ways to fulfill its huge demand for advanced chips.